Video game glitches are such an interesting thing to me because it's really the only entertainment medium in which you can find something sort of outside the developer's attention, because you can't really see that in a movie or something. Usually, if something's messed up, it's edited out. But in the midst of my Resident Evil 4 high that I've been on since June with the OG game and then with the remake, I was watching a video, and whenever I reference videos, I do my best to put them in the description so that you can watch them for yourself if you'd like. I was watching one of those like no damage professional S plus no bonus items things, and the commentary that the guy was talking about was mentioning that some folks say that using glitches in video games for speedrunning is cheating. Glitches have always been a part of speedrunning, especially for folks who really like to go as fast as possible in a game. Oh, Bonzo, are you leaving? Oh no, he's coming over for some pets. Hello. He's usually not up here. He hates it when I'm in the dungeon, as Haley calls it. I'm gonna have to cut this out, but you are just too cute. Oh, okay, now he left. So I kind of wanted to talk about my own views on it with the chat and with you guys. Also, don't forget, December 1st through 24th, we're going to be doing the 24 7-hour streams where I'm doing a 7-hour stream each day. And if you gift 10 Twitch subs, you will be able to dedicate an ornament on the Stelmo tree to whatever you want. It could be family member, it could be a fictional character, could be yourself. Doesn't really matter. Every 10 Twitch subs, boom. Anywho, here's the rant. It's kind of interesting that we got onto this topic because my Resident Evil 4 remake obsession continues, and I was watching a professional S plus run no bonus items thing, and the guy in that video brought up how allegedly, this is the only video of his I've watched, he's had like speedrun world records of any percent runs in, I think, Alien Isolation he was talking about, and he got a lot of comments on his video saying like, this isn't a real speed run, you are cheating with glitches. And I find that a very weird mindset to have, because all the speedruns have rules that you go by in speedrun.com. Like if you're uploading the speedrun to the leaderboards, it has to be within the rule set. And if you're doing the any percent category, you're gonna be doing glitches in the game. I bring this up a lot because folks ask me it, I'd say occasionally. So I suppose just to like kind of have a hard piece of evidence to look back on if you're ever curious, is that I don't like speedrunning that much. I started speedrunning PO6 because I got the views with it and I saw a future in doing this. And PO6, like especially now in Silver 1.4, is the speed running that I like to do, where it's like your execution, where you're playing the game but fast. Just to clarify this, because I think my wording ended up being a little vague here, I love speed running. I think it's an absolutely super cool concept, and I'm glad people have found ways to make these games that we all love playing super competitive and stuff. I love the GDQs. I love that there's all the communities around it. I don't like physically doing speedrunning that much. I prefer playing games casually, and of course what I said was true, is that I started speedrunning PO6 because I got attention for it on YouTube. So it was just a coincidence that I ended up liking PO6 speedrunning, but I'm glad that it worked out. That's why you don't see me speedrun other games that much. It's just not my preferred way to play them. I find watching a speedrun that really heavily relies on glitches or exploits or treating the game as a piece of software to be like really cool to watch like 1 or 2 times, but not really fun to replicate. Because what I prefer about no major glitches categories and stuff is that it's like cool things that you can replicate. Like if I'm watching some of my favorite games on GDQ, like Super Metroid, I can emulate the mock ball. It takes a lot of practice, like in 06, to replicate the loop launch or something like that if it's your first time trying to experiment with things, or like consistently do the extended teleport dash in Silver Story. But I really do find it silly that using glitches in a speedrun is considered cheating. It's only considered cheating if it goes against the rules on the speedrun.com leaderboard, especially in single player games. The only way I could view it as cheating, I guess, is if like you're trying to display it as something it's not. Like if you're making like a guide for how to beat this game, and then you just use a bunch of like cheats and exploits in order to do it, like that kind of sucks. But like for speedrunning, as long as it's within the rules, I don't really get it. The game is what it is, and there's stuff that the developers intended to be in there, and there's stuff that isn't. If it's in the game, it's in the game. As far as I'm concerned, you can use it if you want to. I find it really hard to believe in Resident Evil 4 Remake, they didn't know about the first aid spray duplication glitch. If you want to use that to get the achievements, sure, like, fucking go for it, man. I don't really consider that cheating. In a single player experience, I want to stress, also castle skip pog. If you want to use that type of stuff, then go for it, and if you don't, then don't. There are some folks that are like, well, if you're doing something that's outside the intention of what the developers want you to do, then it's cheating. But it's like, it's a single player game, man. It doesn't matter. Do what you think is fun. That's the point of video games, at least I think, is to have fun. If I start cheating by like modding PO6 and like saying I'm getting a world record and stuff, like, yeah, that's cheating. But it's like, man, you know, if I want to get my cat ears in Resident Evil 4, have infinite ammo, you know, fuck it, use it if that's what you want to do. Yeah, I get it, it's not really worth understanding, but like, it's common enough of a sentiment to where it just sort of like gives me the especially in the case of like calling a speed run cheating by using glitches in the game. Obviously, using cheat engine or manipulating the game's code to give you an unfair advantage, that doesn't make any sense. That's obviously cheating, but even like using the spin kick here, like I'm doing right now, the blue gem into spin kick, I think that you could look at that and be like, yeah, that's sort of a glitch and not necessarily intended behavior, unless Chaos did intend it. Or like with the purple gem, where you can still get the jump by letting go. If it's something anybody can do, then how is it cheating? As long as it's within the rule set. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Glitches can absolutely add depth to the game because it allows for more freedom from the player. Like, Mach Ball and Super Metroid make Super Metroid so much more fun. If you want to get into speedrunning, most popular games have a no major glitches category. You can do that or a glitchless category, especially if the any percent is like full of glitches. Like, doesn't 06 have that? Because it's got like any percent, and then it has any percent no credits warp, and then it has any percent no major glitches, and then is there a glitchless category, or is no major glitches pretty much the glitchless category? I agree with you there too, Beats, that like that's why I think I'd turn away from any percents a lot of the time, because sometimes going through the game as fast as possible is a really lame way to go through the game, and that's why other categories are born usually. Like, it usually just comes down to when the any percent becomes too unfun to run, that's when like the other categories start cropping up. Any percent, no credits warp, no major glitches, all gold medals. Gotcha. So yeah, no major glitches would probably be the closest to glitchless. Like even 06, Glitch the Game has a pretty much glitchless category. That makes total sense though, because doesn't Silver, if you did glitchless, wouldn't extended teleport dashes be part of that? And that just makes Silver Walking Simulator. I remember there being drama about that too. We used to call it glitchless instead of glitchless. That's awesome. I have my own thoughts on like Metroid Dread in terms of categorizing the rule set, because I think there was something recently, like a storm missile skip was found that like went against no major glitches, but there was an argument where it was like, well, you do it one time in the run, so you should be able to do it in no major glitches, which is just like, what? Like, no. If you do a major glitch one time, it's still a major glitch, yeah. But anyway, back to the point is, using glitches, especially in a speedrunning context, as long as it's within the rule set, it isn't cheating. The only time where, like, using glitches in a game can be considered cheating, in my mind, is if you are making a guide, like, beginner-friendly guide to beating Sonic PO6, and then I'm like, all right, well, if you want to beat PO6, you can just, you know, press this sequence of buttons and you trigger the results screen. Like, all right, that's not really playing the game anymore. I also understand the angle from the devs too, like if they don't want people to be beating their games in 10 seconds because of some super broken shit. OT, Arbitrary Code Execution, I think is a really good example, because watching ZFG's run, where he showcased it, I can't remember which one it was. It was the finale of one of the GDQs. But what's really funny to me about that, literally in the run, he's like, we're gonna use this method to get a couple items, and then the ones that are cool to watch, we're gonna do normally, even though we could technically get them via this method. Especially for single player games, it just comes down to whether or not you get to set your own boundary. And that's pretty much it. One thing I did want to say to you guys though, is I am so grateful for the positive reception on these rant videos. Like, I said in the very first one, literally, this is just what has happened on streams all the time, where we have these like kind of big conversations like this. And I've been trying. I used to do a thing where if I got an above average time in PO6, I would post it anyway, because I didn't want the conversations we had during the stream to be lost to time. Anyway, I'm glad that I found a way to be able to bring these to you guys in a digestible format. So with that being said, because I forgot to say in the last one, Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Peace out.